Have you ever wondered why, when we were younger, we could run a stretch of road or carry a heavy bag, and our muscles bounced back quickly? Yet after turning 60, even something as simple as climbing a few steps can make our legs feel heavy and slow to recover. That feeling is not only a sign of getting older. Behind it is a whole story that involves muscle cells, energy production, and the body's finely tuned protective systems. The encouraging news is that today's science is opening new pathways. Researchers have found that a very familiar vegetable, broccoli, contains a special compound that can help protect muscle at the cellular level. If we understand this mechanism and learn how to bring it into daily meals, the body gains a natural shield that helps our legs stay strong and flexible as the years go by. So what is this hidden compound? How does it support our muscles? And how can we put it into practice right away to protect our health? These are the questions we will explore together in today's video. Before we begin, if you find practical and down-to-earth health information like this useful, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Share the video with friends in your age group and leave a comment. Your participation and feedback help this channel continue to bring clear and accessible science to our community. So what is sulforaphane? When people think of broccoli, many simply consider it a green vegetable that is high in fiber and good for digestion. Science has shown that inside it is an exceptional compound called sulforaphane. What makes sulforaphane different is its ability to activate a built-in defense pathway called NRF2. NRF2 works like a safety switch. When it is turned on, it directs a wide network of protective genes that help cells counter oxidative stress. This is the type of stress that occurs when too many free radicals form in the body, unstable molecules that can attack and damage proteins, fats, and even DNA inside muscle cells. In older adults, oxidative stress appears more often because our internal antioxidant systems have declined. Without extra protection, muscle cells gradually weaken, and the mitochondria, the power plants that produce cellular energy, become less efficient. The result is muscles that lose endurance, tire easily, and over time move toward loss of mass. Sulforaphane can partially turn this around. When this compound activates NRF2, the body produces a host of antioxidant enzymes, much like deploying a cleanup crew inside each cell. That crew does more than clear out free radicals. It also supports the renewal of healthier mitochondria, so muscle cells can keep a steady energy supply. In practical terms, when we eat foods rich in sulforaphane, we give the body an added layer of armor against muscle aging at its root. This has moved beyond theory. A study in older mice showed that sulforaphane improved mitochondrial function, helped restore skeletal and cardiac muscle, and enhanced movement by activating protective NRF2 signaling in muscle cells. What stands out is that the benefit did not come from piling on more protein to build muscle. It came from protecting the cells themselves, a factor we often overlook. This is a fresh line of research with real promise for older adults in the United States. Whether by adding broccoli sprouts to daily meals or by using foods that naturally provide sulforaphane, think of your muscles as a motorcycle. When it is new, the engine is strong and responsive. Over time, without care, rust appears, the engine weakens, and fuel no longer burns efficiently. Sulforaphane is like changing the oil and cleaning the combustion chamber so the engine inside can recover, and the bike runs smoother and stronger. For our muscles, that means preserving strength by protecting mitochondria and preventing oxidative damage. So what can we do day to day? The good news is that sulforaphane is most concentrated in broccoli sprouts, especially when eaten raw or lightly steamed rather than overcooked. Adding 1 or 2 servings of broccoli sprouts to your meals each day, together with healthy protein sources such as fish, beans, or eggs, gives your body both the building materials for muscle and the protection it needs from the quiet wear and tear of aging. Most importantly, This all comes from natural foods without relying on medicines or complicated chemicals. Sulforaphane and heart health. One point we often overlook when we talk about muscle strength is the heart. Muscles cannot perform, no matter how well nourished they are, if the heart cannot pump enough blood to feed each fiber. As we age, the heart follows the same rules of aging. Blood vessels stiffen, heart cells lose some of their built-in defenses against free radicals, and mitochondria in cardiac muscle decline, which weakens each beat. The result is shortness of breath, reduced stamina, and legs that already feel vulnerable growing even more tired. What is encouraging is that sulforaphane supports more than skeletal muscle. It also helps the heart directly. When NRF2 is activated inside heart cells, it turns on a set of protective genes that lower quiet, smoldering inflammation in blood vessels, and improve mitochondrial function in the heart. In practical terms, sulforaphane is like supplying cleaner fuel and a fresh filter for the heart, so blood flows more steadily and muscles receive better nourishment. An experiment in older mice made this clear. Supplementing sulforaphane improved mitochondrial function not only in skeletal muscle, but also in the heart, which translated into better movement and endurance. This confirms that cardiac and skeletal muscle are not separate worlds. They form a tightly linked network that benefits together when sulforaphane is present. That is why researchers view it as a promising anti-aging strategy, with real potential for older adults through natural sources, such as broccoli sprouts. Think of a well-tended garden where you prune, feed, and weed with care. If the watering system sputters or stops, the plants still struggle and growth slows no matter how diligent you are. Our muscles work the same way. To keep strength, the heart must deliver a steady supply. Sulforaphane cares for the plants, which are the muscles, and it also keeps the irrigation, which is blood flow and heart rhythm, running smoothly. In daily life, this benefit becomes strongest when sulforaphane from broccoli sprouts goes hand in hand with regular activity. 1 or 2 servings of broccoli sprouts each day, paired with a 30-minute walk, supply a cellular shield and help the heart and muscles work in step. The payoff is better stamina, less fatigue, and the independence in everyday living that so many older adults value. How sulforaphane calms inflammation. There is a medical concept known as inflammaging, which means low-grade chronic inflammation that rises with age. It sounds abstract, yet it behaves like a small flame that never goes out. It does not stab with sharp pain right away, but it can quietly damage muscle tissue in a slow and persistent way. This is why older muscles are not only weaker, but also slow to recover after activity, and why legs can feel stiffer and heavier over time. Sulforaphane acts like a compound that can turn down that flame. By activating NRF2, it reduces production of pro-inflammatory molecules and boosts the body's enzyme systems that protect cells. One key pathway involves easing the activity of NF-κB, a major switch for inflammatory responses. When this switch is dialed back, levels of inflammatory mediators fall, the internal environment of muscle becomes cleaner, and cells can maintain themselves and rebuild. A scientific report in older mice found that adding sulforaphane improved mitochondrial function and lowered inflammatory markers in muscle, which led to smoother movement. This adds weight to the idea that chronic inflammation is a major driver of muscle decline, and that sulforaphane can serve as a control valve that cools things down. Picture a busy neighborhood. If smoke, noise, and trash pile up every day, residents wear down and health suffers. Chronic inflammation does the same to muscle cells. With sulforaphane, it is as if air filters are installed and trash is collected on schedule. The neighborhood clears, and residents breathe easier and go about their lives. In everyday practice, lowering quiet inflammation with sulforaphane brings a very practical gain. Exercise feels easier. When muscles are not held back by inflammation, walking, tai chi, or gardening feel lighter, which makes it easier to stay active. That partnership, a diet rich in sulforaphane alongside regular movement, creates the kind of synergy that helps the body resist the downward spiral of aging. Sulforaphane and fatigue resistance. If we think of the body as a large city, mitochondria are the power plants inside every home and workshop. When those plants run steadily, the lights stay on and everything works smoothly. When they deteriorate and outages appear, the whole city slows down. In older adults, fatigue and muscle weakness often trace back to mitochondria that no longer perform as well as they once did. Mitochondria produce energy in the form of ATP, the energy currency every function relies on. With age, mitochondria become less efficient and generate less ATP, while producing more free radicals. That cycle feeds on itself. More free radicals damage mitochondria further, and with less energy available, muscles tire quickly and recover slowly. Sulforaphane stands out because it does more than neutralize free radicals. It also promotes the renewal of mitochondria. By activating NRF2 sulforaphane switches on genes that drive mitochondrial biogenesis, the cellular program that builds fresh, healthy mitochondria. In practical terms, foods rich in sulforaphane help protect existing power plants and encourage the body to make new ones, so energy supply remains steady. Experimental work in older mice makes this clear. When sulforaphane was added, mitochondrial function improved in skeletal muscle and heart tissue. Exercise capacity increased, and feelings of fatigue fell noticeably. This points to a promising approach for people, especially in later life, to preserve endurance and ease of movement. If these findings are confirmed in humans, sulforaphane could become a natural tool to slow the muscle decline that so often accompanies aging. Consider an older adult climbing a short flight of stairs. When mitochondria in muscle cells are underperforming, a few steps can bring on breathlessness and heavy legs. When mitochondria are protected and renewed with the help of sulforaphane, muscles have the energy to keep contracting. The heart pumps more effectively, and those same steps feel steadier and more manageable. That sense of independence in small daily movements is the real-world difference a cellular mechanism can deliver. In everyday life, supporting mitochondria works best when diet and habits align. Broccoli sprouts are the richest common source of sulforaphane. Pairing them with simple practices like daily walks, deep breathing, and adequate sleep strengthens mitochondrial health further. With sulforaphane and these healthy routines together, the body functions like a city with a reliable, clean power supply and a solid distribution network, so activity feels steadier and less interrupted. How to use sulforaphane? At this point, a practical question naturally follows: how do we bring sulforaphane into daily meals so the benefits science describes can actually show up in our lives? Knowing the mechanism is only the first step. Results depend on how we apply it. First, sulforaphane is not present as a ready-made compound in broccoli. Brassica vegetables contain a precursor called glucoraphanin. When we cut, chew, or crush the plant, a natural enzyme called myrosinase converts glucoraphanin into sulforaphane. That means preparation and eating methods determine how much sulforaphane the body truly receives. Studies show that broccoli sprouts, especially those just a few days old, contain many times more glucoraphanin than mature broccoli. This is why researchers frequently choose sprouts in experiments. For older adults, adding a handful of broccoli sprouts to salads, sandwiches, or even warm oatmeal is an easy, effective way to take in sulforaphane. Cooking method matters because boiling or prolonged cooking can inactivate myrosinase, preventing sulforaphane from forming. The best approaches are to eat sprouts raw or steam mature broccoli briefly for 2 to 3 minutes. This keeps the bright green color and crisp texture while preserving activity. Some people prefer dried broccoli sprout powders. If so, choose products processed in a way that retains myrosinase. Portion size deserves attention. The goal for older adults is consistency rather than excess. 1 to 2 servings of broccoli sprouts per day, roughly half to 1 small bowl, provide a meaningful amount of glucoraphanin. If you enjoy mature broccoli as well, a light steam before serving alongside the main dish works well. There is also a useful kitchen tip. Combining broccoli sprouts with other foods naturally rich in myrosinase can boost conversion. Baby kale, Brussels sprouts, and a small amount of whole grain mustard with seeds can enhance enzyme activity and increase sulforaphane formation. It is a simple way to make meals both tasty and more bioactive. Remember that sulforaphane is one piece of a broader plan to protect muscles and the heart. To use it well, pair it with high-quality protein. Protein supplies the building blocks for muscle, while sulforaphane helps keep those cells healthy. A balanced meal for older adults could be salmon or lentils, served with broccoli sprouts and a few almonds. That combination offers protein, healthy fats, and a natural source of sulforaphane. Some wonder whether to take sulforaphane as a supplement. Capsules and powders with glucoraphanin do exist, and research is ongoing on optimal dosing and long-term safety. A cautious approach is best. Start with food sources, and consider supplements only with guidance from a dietitian or physician. Movement remains essential. Sulforaphane can help restore cellular energy and calm inflammation, yet without regular activity, muscles will still shrink over time. Gentle options such as brisk walking, breathwork, or senior-friendly yoga help stimulate muscle and support circulation. When physical activity accompanies a diet rich in sulforaphane, the loop closes. We eat to nourish muscle. We move to maintain it, and each supports the other to counter the pull of aging. Picture a typical morning routine that puts this into practice. Begin with a warm bowl of oatmeal topped with blueberries and a handful of broccoli sprouts folded into a side salad. Follow with a half-hour neighborhood walk and a few deep breaths in fresh air. This simple start supplies energy along with cell-protective compounds. Kept up day after day, legs feel steadier, the heartbeat finds a comfortable rhythm, and mood tends to lift. One final reminder deserves emphasis. Sulforaphane is not a cure-all. It does not replace healthy living. Yet it fills an important spot in the bigger picture. Combined with balanced nutrition, appropriate activity, good sleep, and an optimistic outlook, sulforaphane can live up to its potential as a steady companion that helps extend muscle longevity, preserve independence, and sustain the pleasure of moving well. We have taken a fairly long journey to explore the strength of sulforaphane in broccoli. From the outset, this compound showed it can activate NRF2 and build a protective line against oxidative stress in muscle cells, which slows the slide toward weakness. It also strengthens the heart and circulatory system so blood flow can reliably nourish muscle. In addition, it eases low-grade chronic inflammation, the hidden force that drags out recovery. Most importantly, it supports the renewal and upkeep of mitochondria, the body's power plants, helping us push back against persistent fatigue. None of this is out of reach. By preparing broccoli sprouts the right way and pairing them with regular activity, the body receives protection that starts at the roots. Welcome to Senior Life Upgrade. We have taken a long journey together to explore the power of sulforaphane in broccoli. From the start, this compound has shown the ability to activate NRF2, build a protective barrier for muscle cells against oxidative stress, and slow the pace of muscle decline. It does more than that. Sulforaphane also strengthens the heart and circulatory system, helping the blood flow that nourishes muscle stay strong and steady. It eases low-grade chronic inflammation, the hidden enemy that makes recovery sluggish. Just as important, sulforaphane supports mitochondria, the body's power plants, in renewing themselves and maintaining energy, which helps us push back against lingering fatigue. Best of all, these benefits are not out of reach. We can access them through familiar foods. By eating broccoli sprouts the right way and pairing them with steady activity, the body receives protection at its roots. The key message is that the health of our muscles and heart does not belong only to age. It also rests in the small choices we make each day. A handful of broccoli sprouts added to a meal, a routine of 30 minutes of walking, and a full night of sleep can shape the stamina and independence of our later years. This is a reminder that it is never too late to start caring for yourself. Whether you are past 60 or 70, your body will respond when it is nourished well. If you found this video helpful, please like, share it with friends and family, and leave a comment so we can continue the conversation in upcoming episodes. Together, let's make later life a season of calm strength and vibrant health.